one of the overarching characteristics of law is justice and righteousness.
There's not a lot of sustainability. There's not that succession planning.
And then after that, the world is your oyster, where you can really just go into the field that you want to do.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Buzzing Podcast. So excited to have Rainier Brains with us, so associate at Alta Roos Inc. Rainier, before we get into your story, tell me one great thing about Alta Roos.
There's a lot of things I can testify about Alta, but I think she is exceptional with people.
Yeah, amazing.
Just how she manages people, how she manages relationships, and how she networks. It's really something that I really learn from every day.
Yeah.
So she's a very, very good lawyer as well. So,
yeah, that's great. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. I mean, you are on a point where you became an associate now in Alta Roos Inc. How was the journey for you to get to this point?
Sure. Okay, not going too far back. So I obviously studied to become a lawyer, and part of studying I worked as well. So I paid off my own studies, but it was a journey of really trying to find something that I can grab my teeth into, and then I realized that the firm I was at in Cape Town couldn't necessarily do that for me. And then I had the opportunity of coming here to George, and Alta opened the door for me, which is amazing. And I think just from there, I realized that there's a lot of opportunity in being a lawyer, and I've heard it before that there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, but they're not necessarily good at either of those stuff. So I saw a gap and tried becoming, I call myself now a commercial attorney, but it's more just focusing on businesses and focusing on how I can assist businesses more, but also having knowledge of the other fields as well, being also very important.
That's amazing. So how did you get into the legal field? Like, were you that child that knew from grade 1 or from grade 7, I'm going to become a lawyer?
No, there's a lot of other stuff I wanted to become, but I would not say forced into law, but the door opened for me because I wanted to go into politics.
Oh, wow.
So if the years back, Rainier would not know in which political party he would be now, but that's where it started for me, and I thought law was a really good basis for that.
Definitely.
So I applied for law, I applied for politics as well, and got in for law. And then I think at that stage, while studying law, it became such a great course that I fell in love with the law. Fell in love with the history, fell in love with the governance and the regulatory side of it, and also the practicality of it, how you can actually help and assist people in bettering their lives. So that's kind of where it started for me. And
that's amazing. So you didn't fall asleep when you were studying, you actually fell in love. So that's amazing to know that with law, because I know of a lot of people that says it's a tough a tough subject to study. So well done in completing that as well. So I mean, how important is it for us as South African citizens to know the law?
Well, I think it's very important for us to be aware of the law, because ignorance is not a what do you call it, a defense. So even when you go, when you're part of a legal suit, or you get sued or anything like that, and you say, no, but I was unaware. That's not a defense.
Exactly.
So that's on the one side, and on the other side, it's almost impossible knowing every single law that's passed. So that's why you need to be aware of all I would say the normalized laws, like don't drive 120 in a 60 zone, things like that. And then with all your specific other things that you want to do and business related stuff, for instance, get someone that's a specialist in the field that can help you with that.
Definitely. And that's so important. And I mean, getting a specialist in the field is getting you in the field, right? And now you get to a point, you become an associate in Alta Rose Inc. That's part of succession planning. And I think what I see a lot of small businesses and everything, there's not a lot of sustainability. There's not that succession planning. I mean, you are still youth getting into a point where you are essentially part of succession planning. So how important is it for small businesses to focus on succession planning, and what would that entail for them?
Yeah. So I'll start with the latter part of what you said. I think if you turn it on its head, and you're very practical about it, is let's say you're in a business and there's partnerships, there's a partnership to two business owners, and one of them dies, but they fulfilled a very specific role in the business.
Yeah.
What happens with that role in the business? Does it just get taken over by someone else? Is there a plan in place for that? Or, if you, for instance, did all the payments, what happens with that? Yeah. Do you now need to go to the bank and try and figure that out? So some of the stuff are very practical that you can think about. And there are two main ways. There might be more, but for me, I always advise there are two main ways how you can do succession planning in a business.
Yeah.
One is through a memorandum of incorporation, and the other one is through your last will and testament.
Sure. Yeah. That's great. And so there's a lot more to cover on that, which we are going to cover in the next episode, right? So,
yes.
I mean, just from the base of it, I can hear, I mean, you are super excited about this, right? This must be a passion. Otherwise, I don't know what gets you up in the morning if it's not passion for this industry. So what was some of the pivotal moments that shaped you to be this passionate about the field that you're in?
Well, I won't say I'm a very critical person, but I have attention for detail. So I worked in the hospitality industry for quite a while I was studying.
Wow.
And there you pick up on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you can kind of read people after a while, even when you see the guys had his steak and now you can sell him a creme brulee or something like that. You kind of tell the traits. Yeah. So I think a pivotal moment for me was definitely entering into the legal field.
Yeah.
Which allowed me to actually start doing what I've prepared myself for. But it's not that I was the complete commercial lawyer at that stage. Yeah. So I try and better myself with that, and try and grow as a commercial lawyer wherever I can. But I think a moment in time is where I kind of just started getting ideas for things. So I started getting business ideas. I wanted to build this app, and I wanted to do this business. And I go to the golf course and I see there's no car wash there. I want to build a car wash there. And,
come on.
So it's some of those stuff that I get excited about. Yeah. So with the law, it's the same. Like I get excited about how I can use the law to try and add value to companies.
Yes, that's amazing. So how does being a lawyer form you as a father to your child and a husband to your wife?
Well, a lot of people think that lawyers are very black and white people, and most of them are. But I think the law really helps me knowing that there are consequences for your actions. There are responsibility, it helps you with your discipline. So there are certain tasks that I know that I need to fulfill as a father and as a husband. Yeah. And I think the law gives you lists that you need to comply with, but it also gives you opportunity to take that on and to run with it.
That's great. So what do you do when your wife runs a stop street?
Well, I can tell you what I want to do, but no, I keep quiet. Yes, I've learned I keep quiet.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what is success for you in life?
So success for me it can mean a lot of things to different people. Personally for me, success is knowing that I've taught my daughter how to be a person in this world, and to live a life on biblical views. It means for me that I'm an active husband in a marriage.
Yeah.
And it means that also I can be a person, an individual, in the capacity of a lawyer that adds value to companies, it's not something that, you know, they just pay money for because lawyers are expensive. But it's really something that they see value and adds to their growth in a company.
Yeah.
That to me is a measurement of success.
That's amazing. And then just before we go on to something else, I want to ask you this question. I mean, being a Christian, right? We need to be the light in the world. But being in law, I mean, I'm in accounting and in taxes, it gets to a point where it becomes quite difficult because there's certain rules that's quite strict and everything. So how do you be the light in the world and be strict in terms of like laws that's happening in South Africa?
Well, for me, one of the overarching call it factors or characteristics of law is justice and righteousness. And it's amazing for me that I can take part in not necessarily applying that, but helping the world becoming more righteous and justice to prevail. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. Any lawyer will tell you that there's someone that have come to them telling them, like, listen, let's do this thing like this and do it like that. And then you're not comfortable with that because it's either illegal or immoral or unethical. So I think from there, you need to stand your ground.
Yeah. So being part of youth still, like I mentioned before, I mean, how do you motivate somebody your age, or I mean, you need to start a little bit younger because you need to go through the studies and everything, but at that age that says they want to go into this field, they want to make an impact, like just share a little bit more of what shaped you to become a person that you say, I want to become a lawyer, I want to make this difference, and how can you encourage the youth with that today?
Yeah, well, as every probably a lot of boys in South Africa, I dreamt about becoming a Springbok rugby player. And that really, that dream got shattered with me. I had a sport injury at 16. And I won't say I was set up for that because the percentage of people actually making it is very little. But
they say something like 1 in 15,000.
It's
people
ridiculous.
Become a Springbok.
So that was kind of the idea. It was a childhood dream of mine. But I never really thought about, what profession I was going to practice, what I was going to be my 8 to 5, or what's going to keep me busy in the day. And I think I struggled a lot with trying to kind of put it down because you do that aptitude tests and everything. And there's a lot of stuff that came out. There was architecture and a lot of other things. But I think something that really helped me was actually just to make a decision. So I just made a decision. I was like, I'm going to apply for law, and then I could also apply for architecture. And then kind of the path opened up for himself. So I was like, okay, then that's the road I must take. But actually in studying law, there's a lot of variations of law you can study, like BCom, BA LLB, the plain LLB, and then the BAC LLB. And I would say, all 4 of them open different fields where you can go into. So I studied the straight LLB, but if I want to go back now, I would actually want to do the BCom LLB just to get some more business, insight, which is also great. But when I finished my studies and I started with articles, that was a very difficult thing because when I applied for articles, there was a stat that they said about 5,500 people that finished their studies. I think it's 5,500. They couldn't get articles. So it's such a competitive market.
That's crazy.
And there's other options that you can take. You can work for, like in the Caesar State offices, in for like F&B or wherever. There's other things you can do. And I think it's a very tough road. Like even your articles, it's very, very tough. But if you look at it like you have 4 years or 5 years to study and 2 years to do your articles, maybe just combine that as like the hardship or the difficult time you need to go through, put through. And then after that, the world is your oyster, where you can really just go into the field that you want to do, but also experiment with stuff. Experiment with different areas in law that you want to maybe think about doing.
That's great. And then just before we finish, so is your little daughter gonna do lawyer work one day as well?
I haven't really thought about that, but I think I will introduce her into law. I would, let her maybe draft my will. I will not sign it though, but she can draft it for me.
She can test it out.
We'll see. One day we'll see when she gets there.
Great. Rainier, thank you so much for being here. And we look forward to our next episode with Rainier, where we're going to speak about commercial law. Guys, thank you so much for joining the Buzzing Podcast. Stay tuned for the next one.